Hey guys, Jonathan Rice here, a licensed CPA in the state of Louisiana, but not your licensed CPA. Today we're going to be covering some Bill.com alternatives. And if you were somebody who is not a small business owner, who is not an accountant, who is not a CPA, you probably didn't even know there was a service out there called Bill.com. So what exactly is Bill.com? Bill.com is a bill pay platform. There's tons of them out there. A lot of them integrate with your accounting platforms to help streamline workflows, basically. So if you're a small business owner, you may get 150 invoices a week. Okay, probably not 150, maybe 50 invoices a week, depending on what you're doing. Your rent bill, your utility bill, your window cleaner, your floor cleaner, any outsourced services, your inventory services, credit card statements. It all adds up quick. And so every time you open the mailbox, you might say, oh my gosh, there's an hour and a half worth of work here because I have to pay all these bills. Well, that's where these guys step in. So for a small fee, typically monthly, these payment providers will basically allow you to upload an invoice. You can manually key it, or you can snap a quick pic of it, upload it to their system. You choose how you want to pay: ACH, check, wire, credit card, debit card, ghost card, and then away you go. You don't have to sit there and process invoices until midnight. And so that's really attractive to a lot of small business owners because they, like everyone else, are pinched for time. And so that's the basic gist of what Bill.com does. Bill.com is probably one of the largest players in the game, and for good reason. Bill.com doesn't mess up. I've probably paid 20,000 invoices with Bill.com, and it pushed over to Sage Intacct seamlessly. There was never one time a mistake, and if there was a mistake, it was human error, not Bill.com's fault. And so that's really attractive because now you don't have to go in and try and reconcile and figure it out. And what was this? What was this? If it came from Bill.com, you know it was correct. And that's really attractive because we could pay 500 invoices in a week. But the drawback to Bill.com is if you're pushing that much volume, it starts to add up quick. I think we were paying about $500 or $600 a month for access to this service. So Bill.com is a behemoth. It's out there. It works. It's been around for a while. And that's why it's as ubiquitous as it is, because it's a platform that delivers consistently at a fair price. But there are other players out there. So if you're watching this video, you're probably doing a little research to figure out what's going to be best for you. Let's talk about some of the alternatives to Bill.com. So the first guy on the list, QuickBooks. If you're already using QuickBooks, pardon me, I didn't realize it wasn't on the screen. So if you're already using QuickBooks, then you know that QuickBooks can handle just about any small business, and their bill pay platform is no different. So the drawbacks to using QuickBooks Bill Pay is, one, you better be in QuickBooks. If you're not in QuickBooks, I'm not even sure you can use it. So if you're using Sage or Xero or Wave or FreshBooks, this ain't for you. It doesn't make any sense. If you are using QuickBooks, probably like around 70 to 80% of small businesses, you can check out this platform. I wouldn't say it's cheap. You get a couple freebies. I think you get 5 ACHs a month to kind of give it a shot. They are going to charge you for check stock. They're going to charge you for mailing. They're going to charge you for printing. They're going to charge you for addressing the envelope. So typically it's $1.50 to $3 per envelope. And then it just plugs and plays. You don't have to do any research on how to use it. You don't have to learn a new platform. If you're keeping your books in QuickBooks, you're going to be able to use their bill pay function. It's pretty intuitive and seamless. So that's always a plus. There aren't really a ton of drawbacks other than, to me, the reporting is lackluster. But if you're using QuickBooks, QuickBooks itself has pretty good reporting, and so it pushes all that data over. But within the platform, you're not going to be able to find anything, so you have to exit and then go into your accounting software. Not a big deal. You probably have both tabs open. And then it's not necessarily the cheapest thing around. So if you're on a budget and you can get away with just 5 free ACHs and you don't mind paying for the checks, check it out if you're already on the QuickBooks platform. But we do have other options. So let's jump to Melio. Melio is kind of the newer kid on the block. I think they were established in like 2019 or so they're relatively new. I like Melio because it gives you options. Maybe I don't want to pay via ACH. Maybe I don't want to pay via check. Maybe I want to use a credit or a debit card. Can't do that with QuickBooks Bill Pay. Maybe I want to wire my funds so that my vendor receives them immediately. Maybe I want to send them across the country or across borders. I need to pay somebody in Europe in euros or somebody in Canada with CAD. I have that option, and they will take care of the currency conversion, which is super attractive if I'm an international business dealer. Other things about Melio, you're going to be able to get a freemium version. It's similar to QuickBooks, 5 ACHs, but they do have more options in terms of their pricing. So you can see here they have the introductory price, $2.50 a month to get 20 free ACHs, 50 free ACHs for $5.50 a month. But be aware, it does quickly scale up. That's the introductory, let me get you hooked price. Let me show you how nice it is to be a part of the ecosystem. After that, expect to pay to play. And then if you're scaling, it's going to be even more. You can see here it's $10 per month per additional user. So, but with that, it does a really good job of segregation of duties. So if you are a CPA and you have a bookkeeper under you and a business owner above you, maybe your bookkeeper enters the bills, you approve it, and the owner releases the funds, or the controller releases the funds, or the CFO releases the funds. And that keeps everybody accountable. It allows you to check for mistakes instead of one person entering the bill and then one person paying the bill. That same person, you can have a lot of mistakes happen. I've seen $500,000 accidentally sent to the wrong folks before. Not really a big deal when you're a company that's a Fortune 500, but still kind of nerve-wracking. That person was an intern, and they were shaking in their boots. And at the end of the day, the vendor was like, "No big deal, we'll send it back." But not everybody's that honest. So definitely want to have those separation of duties, and Melio does a good job of that. Another thing that Melio does really well, similar to QuickBooks Bill Pay, is it integrates seamlessly with QuickBooks. It integrates with Xero. It integrates with quite a few accounting softwares via API, similar to how it hooks up to different bank accounts using Plaid. It can also do the same thing with QuickBooks. And so you do have that autonomous option to basically run everything kind of hands off. You're not going to be downloading CSV spreadsheets and then uploading them to your accounting system. We're well past that. We don't have to worry about that in this day and age. Other items is it does allow a pay over time plan. So if you have vendor credit with Melio, you do have the option to pay now and then pay back later, which is kind of unique. You're not going to find that with a lot of bill pay options. And then the final thing is actually paying the bills. So you don't have to sit there and key every invoice that comes into your mailbox that's emailed over to you. If you have a phone, if you have a smartphone and you have the ability to operate that smartphone, you can snap a quick pic, upload to Melio, and via OCR and AI, they're going to be able to load that bill for you. It's saved within a platform, so if you need to go and see, what did I pay 2 weeks ago for that amount, you can go find the vendor's name. Boom, there it is. Really, really nice to be able to have everything in one place. So Melio is a really good all-in-one tool. It's going to allow you to pay in multiple ways. It's good for multiple size businesses because they have all these different plans. There are some drawbacks. So like every other bill payment process provider, you may find that in times of heavy volume, they could struggle to get your printed checks out the door. So if you need to pay a vendor timely every month or they'll freeze your account, maybe don't elect to mail them a paper check. Maybe you should ACH or wire them. But you have to be careful. I've warned about it in the past. Vendors like being paid via ACH. And once you give it to them, it's hard to take it away because they now no longer have to worry about mail float. They no longer have to worry about the check being lost in the mail. They no longer have to wait a day or two for those check funds to clear. It's right there. And so it's really attractive to them. So be careful if you're using an ACH, especially if you're playing cash tight to the chest and you just need a couple $1,000s to make payroll. That mail float can save your hiney. So be wary of that. Other drawbacks for Melio is sometimes their ACHs are not same day or next day, so it can stretch to 3 or 4 days. So keep that in mind. That's all bill payment providers. It's very seldom, but it does happen. So Melio is a good contender for quite a bit of different sized businesses. But we have one other guy that might be able to topple Bill.com's reign in this ecosystem. So and that is Ramp. Ramp is been around for quite some time. Not as long as Bill, though. So Ramp is a bill pay service provider, but in my opinion, having used them in the past, where they really excel is the ability to closely track spend. So they do an excellent job with expense reports, getting corporate cards out to folks, and basically really getting into the nitty gritty. Obviously, because they are a bill pay platform, you're still going to be able to upload your invoices, pay via AP, stuff like that. But if you have employees who are out on the job or need access to company funds so that they can fuel up their trucks or buy tools, or just if they're event planning and they need to go get some streamers or something like that, and they have a company card, Ramp is going to be your go-to for that. They do a really, really good job of managing those expense reports. Another thing about Ramp is they offer pretty robust reporting right within the software, and it does link to a ton of different accounting platforms. I'm not so sure if it's going to link to some of those bigger players like SAP, NetSuite, Oracle, Sage, stuff like that, but I would imagine for many platforms similar to QuickBooks size, you should be able to pretty easily link it. So you can see here, same for all of these guys. They're going to let you send a couple ACHs, try and see if you like it. Ramp is no different. It's going to let you start out for free, $0 a month, but it is going to keep you kind of under your thumb. You're not going to be able to experience everything that the platform has to offer. And then after that, you can get $15 a month per user, and it just goes up from there. And it goes up quickly. So it's going to be similar to Bill.com, to where if you're pushing major volume through it, you're going to find that this product, even though it does save an immense amount of time, it can get kind of pricey, $500, $600, $1,000 a month. But the way I always like to explain to folks is if you're able to save an entire person's salary per year because they're not having to sort through all this paperwork, if you have to pay $1,000 a month, but you were paying that person $50,000 a year to help pay bills, well, pay the $1,000 a month and you can save that in labor costs. It's that much in time savings. So it is super important to consider things outside the box like that. A couple other things to consider about Ramp is you're going to be able to send payments internationally, unlike QuickBooks. Bill.com does let you do that, so it's kind of apples to apples for there, just like Melio. But if you are doing a lot of business and you're sending it all over, you're sending your funds all over the place, Ramp is definitely going to work for that. Now, in my opinion, Ramp is really for larger enterprises, lots of employees, maybe a good size accounting department. You can use Ramp if you're scaling. If you're a mid-sized business, I don't see any problem with using Ramp, but that is something to consider, that it might be too robust for your needs, and maybe you need to pick something simpler like Melio or QuickBooks. I would say Bill.com is kind of that middle ground. There's a reason it is what it is, and that's because it can do large enterprises down to my personal CPA firm. So now that you've got the information that you need to ask yourself kind of, where do I fall in this bucket? Am I really in tune with the QuickBooks ecosystem and I don't mind the inflexibility that comes with that? Or do I want to pay via credit card, debit card, virtual card, ACH wire, international? Maybe check out Melio if I'm growing and I'm just not sure I really want to change, stay with Bill. Or if I'm just, hey, I'm taking all the money that I can get, I'm scaling with employees, I need to be able to track their time and expenses, I need expense reports, I need to be able to monitor travel and entertainment, use Ramp. So there's tons of different options out there, tons of different niches. You're going to be able to find one that works for you. Thanks for watching.